You've been on several podcasts, Joe Rogan, Sam Harris, Rich Roll, others, excellent conversations. But I think there's several topics that you didn't talk about that I think are fascinating that I'd love to talk to you about. Sort of machine learning, artificial intelligence, both the narrow kind and the general kind, and engineering at scale. So there's a lot of incredible engineering going on that you're a part of. Cryptocurrency, blockchain, UBI, all kinds of philosophical questions maybe we'll get to about life and death and meaning and beauty. So you're involved in building some of the biggest network systems in the world, sort of trillions of interactions a day. The cool thing about that is the infrastructure, the engineering at scale. You started as a programmer with C, building. Yeah, so
I'm a hacker. I'm not really an engineer.
Not a legit software engineer. You're a hacker at heart. But to achieve scale, you have to do some, unfortunately, legit large-scale engineering. So how do you make that magic happen?
Hire people that I can learn from, number one. I mean, I'm a hacker in the sense that my approach has always been do whatever it takes to make it work, so that I can see and feel the thing and then learn what needs to come next. And oftentimes what needs to come next is a matter of being able to bring it to more people, which is scale. And there's a lot of great people out there that either have experience or are extremely fast learners that we've been lucky enough to find and work with for years. But I think a lot of it, we benefit a ton from the open source community and just all the learnings there that are laid bare in the open, all the mistakes, all the success, all the problems. It's a very slow moving process, usually open source, but it's very deliberate. And you get to see, because of the pace, you get to see what it takes to really build something meaningful. So I learned most of everything I learned about hacking and programming and engineering has been due to open source and the generosity that people have given to give up their time, sacrifice their time without any expectation in return, other than being a part of something much larger than themselves, which I think is great.
The open source movement is amazing. But if you just look at the scale, like Square has to take care of, is this fundamentally a software problem or hardware problem? You mentioned hiring a bunch of people, but so it's not, maybe from my perspective, not often talked about how incredible that is to sort of have a system that doesn't go down often, that is secure, is able to take care of all these transactions. Like maybe I'm also a hacker at heart, and it's incredible to me that that kind of scale could be achieved. Is there some insight, some lessons, some interesting tidbits that you can say about how to make that scale happen? Is it the hardware fundamentally challenge? Is it a software challenge? Is it is it a social challenge of building large teams of engineers that work together, that kind of thing? Like what's the interesting challenges there?
By the way, you're the best dressed hacker I've met. I think
Thank you, by the way. Thank you.
If the enumeration you just went through, I don't think there's one. You have to kind of focus on all, and the ability to focus on all that really comes down to how you face problems and whether you can break them down into parts that you can focus on. Because I think the biggest mistake is trying to solve or address too many at once, or not going deep enough with the questions, or not being critical of the answers you find, or not taking the time to form credible hypotheses that you can actually test and you can see the results of. So all of those fall in the face of ultimately critical thinking skills, problem solving skills. And if there's one skill I want to improve every day, it's that. That's what contributes to learning. And the only way we can evolve any of these things is learning what it's currently doing and how to take it to the next step.
And questioning assumptions, the first principles kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Seems like
Yeah.
fundamental to this whole process.
Yeah, but if you get too overextended into, well, this is a hardware issue, you miss all the software solutions. And, vice versa, if you focus too much on the software, there are hardware solutions that can 10x the thing. So I try to resist the categories of thinking and look for the underlying systems that make all these things work. But those only emerge when you have a skill around creative thinking, problem solving, and being able to ask critical questions and having the patience to like go deep